With that said, what advice would you give to someone who's just now discovering GoHighLevel?
One, focus on the sale. If you can, let me just be very clear. If you can't sell something, you lose. Game over. I don't care how many features we have and how great we do it. If you cannot make the sale, you lose. So focus on the sale.
Do you see a feature where businesses intentionally hire GoHighLevel trained Filipino specialists?
I think it's not about being cheap. It's about being good. And you have some incredibly talented folks there. And I think it's really an opportune time for them to really be able to show off their skills, charge properly for them, get paid well for them. Because at the end of the day, like, I don't care where someone is located. I care about what they can do. What? I have to wait 9 months? I had to do this every day for 9 months? I quit. That's where people fail in life. They quit too early because they can't get instant results. That's where you need to focus. 90 days of getting in those reps, 90 days of taking the no's, and slowly those no's will start to turn into maybes, and then those maybes will start to turn into yeses. If you do those two things, you will win. You can always do more later. You can always learn more later. You can always expand later, but for gosh sakes, start simple.
So before we jump into the questions, I just really I want to quickly set the tone for this conversation. So my main audience and the reason why I'm very excited about this is made up of Filipino freelancers, virtual assistants, and maybe even solopreneurs who are just starting to discover GoHighLevel. You know, most of them, they don't have formal business backgrounds, but they're hardworking, sharp, and they're looking for this next opportunity. So, you know, instead of asking you the usual founder questions, which I've heard from your previous interviews, like how did you start GoHighLevel? How did you scale it? What was the mindset behind all of that? I'd really love to use this time to deliver real value to my audience. And so I want this conversation to speak directly to them, to give them clarity, inspiration, and maybe even the confidence to say, this is the path that I want to take. And that's because,
Very cool.
from what I've seen, with the way HighLevel is growing globally, they might actually be sitting on a golden opportunity right now, and they just don't fully realize it yet. So would that be awesome if we set it the tone that way?
Yeah, let's do it, man. I'm willing to go any direction you want to go.
Awesome. So let's start with an exciting questions for you. What's something that you're currently building right now that most people don't see coming yet? Like, I know GoHighLevel is investing a lot into further developing and improving its AI features, but what comes after that? Have you already thought about it, or?
No. So I'll answer that question the way I'd answer it for anybody, which is we don't really try to lead. I know that sounds weird, but we don't think of ourselves as experts, right? So I think a lot of software companies run around thinking like, oh, well, we know the future. That's not how we think. We really feel like we're in service of our customer. And it's our customer, like, for example, people out in events in Miami right now who are out experiencing things, seeing what's coming, looking around the corner. And then, because a lot of times, okay, let's just think about AI, right? So we all know AI is promising and this and that. But if you really sit down and think, okay, well, what are we using? Like, what are we selling to our clients that's AI, right? What AI are we selling? A lot of us would say, well, maybe not anything. And why is that exactly? Is it because AI is not like, is it just all hype? Well, no, but it turns out it looks like maybe AI is going to help us as practitioners. It's not necessarily going to help our clients. It's like a better hammer. So we're not going to like sell it to our clients. We're going to start using it ourselves. And our clients are going to continue to get the same results they were, except now they're going to be faster, cheaper, and better, all because we are using a different tool. But see, there's a great example of how our customers led us to this. So initially, if you look at AI, it was all about content generation. And we all thought, oh yeah, it's going to make all of our images for us and make our videos. And it may still do that, but it's certainly not something, I think we all thought maybe our clients are going to use this to write the website page or create the social media post. But turns out, no, actually our clients are still the same people they were before, which is plumbers, doctors, lawyers, dentists. They're still busy doing what they do best. And we're still responsible to get those things done for them. And so for me, it's awesome to be in the position we are because our customers lead us down that journey. Everything I just told you, I learned from watching our customers go out, try to sell AI in many cases and fail, and then realize, wait a second, but I still think this is useful. I still understand the vision of it. Here's how I'm going to use it. And so literally we just build in the app exactly what our customers use and how they use it. And while that sounds boring, I think it's also very much our mission. Our goal is to recognize our customers as the experts, show up and listen to what they need and build it the way they need it, what and how they need it, and when they need it, so that they can service their clients, not try to look around the corner and preempt them. Because had we done that, we can all think of probably some early content generation and AI folks that, maybe are either not around anymore or maybe they've moved on away from agencies completely because at the end of the day, they thought it was all going to be content. And it turns out that probably not.
That's awesome that you're doing it that way. You're actively listening to their feedback and then going with it. if you say so.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's funny, but I mean, a lot of people don't do that, but that's how we've always done it. I mean, now to be fair, that's what's fun about our clients, though. Our customers are also on the cutting edge, and so when I think about what we're doing, like right now we have this killer like inbound voice AI, which was a great start, but now we're going to be coming out with, and then we have like chat AI on the website, and then now we're going to combo those up. Kind of, we're going to have like voice video avatar AI, like you can talk to a avatar on the website using AI. And I think that's awesome. And this is the other fun part about what we do. I would have never thought of that. Like, sorry, I'm not that smart. I'm not that genius. But our customers did. And then we just said, oh, wow, that's amazing. We got the votes and we're like, let's build it. So that to me is pretty exciting. So those are some of the things we're doing. And on the AI front, I mean, we'll continue to, it's clear to me that AI is an engine. So it's really about swapping the engine out on all the cars, right? It's like, how do we make it, if you've ever driven a gas car and then driven an electric car, the reality is the driving is the same. It's just the propulsion is different. And that's exactly what I think AI is turning out to be for all of us.
Awesome. Moving forward, you once said that business owners don't have the time to master everything. And that's why marketing agencies became key, right? And so considering that GoHighLevel is now being recognized globally, do you see freelancers and virtual assistants stepping into that same role, being key players for GoHighLevel?
For sure. In fact, I think I think the word agency has radically, that's certainly where we started. And it's funny because there are two shifts going on. You could think about it as the internal shift inside HighLevel, but also externally in the world. So, and again, I love these stories because they're all customer stories. So like when we first came out, it was like, okay, we're going to be the agency operating system. That's what we used to call it. We're going to replace all these tools and that's our mission. So we did that. And then very quickly thereafter, again, customers show the way. I would speak to an agency. Hey, how are you doing? What's going on? And I would get in these weird calls. So the first person would be like, I sell Facebook ads to plumbers. And I'm like, how's it going? They're like, it's terrible. I lose clients every 5 minutes. I hate my life. I'm always stuck at home. I can never take a vacation. I'm like, oh, that's a bummer. That sucks. Let's see what we can do to help you. And then I get on the next call and I'd be like, hey, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I serve plumbers. And I'd be like, oh, let me guess. Your life is terrible. You hate it. You can never get away. And like, no, what are you talking about? I'm crushing it. Everything's going great. I go on vacation all the time. I barely work. And I'm like, what the heck are you doing? And they're like, oh, well, actually, I used to sell Facebook ads, but now I'm selling my white label of HighLevel on a monthly recurring basis to them. And I'm like, wait, like software? Like SaaS? And they're like, what's SaaS? And I'm like, wait, like just selling the software. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, how are things going? It's like, oh, it's amazing. So, really taking that forward, what we realized is everybody needs to move into this direction. And it's because really clients want solutions, right? Yeah. And the reality is that some of the solutions are going to be service or outcome based. In fact, that is how you should be selling stuff. That is what you should be focused on and so forth and so on. But at some point where you have to provide a technology solution to your client, you need to be the one to do it. And so you get this beautiful pairing of software plus service or software plus outcome, I think is a better way to think about it. And that to me is what's really amazing is that we continue to see the word marketing agency now becomes much, much, much broader. And in fact, what marketing agencies used to do has become much, much, much broader as well. So there's this massive sea change when it comes to who's getting into this market. So I don't think you even have to call yourself an agency anymore. In fact, this is why we have that term SaaSpreneur, but whatever it becomes, that is really, in my opinion, the future. You're a solutions provider and your job is to come to the table and say, look, you're a lawyer. Cool. Here's all the things out of the box that I can give you that will immediately double your ROI on what you pay me tomorrow. And you just scale that out for each of those people. And as the technology changes, as it inevitably will, you're going to continue to stay on top of it for them and help them kind of guide them through that journey, whatever it means.
Awesome. So with that said, what advice would you give to someone who's just now discovering GoHighLevel? Like, what should they be doing today to catch the wave
oh my gosh.
for what they're building?
So simple. Oh my gosh. So simple. So two things. One, focus on the sale. Let me just be very clear. If you can't sell something, you lose. Game over. I don't care how many features we have and how great we do it. If you cannot make the sale, you lose. So focus on the sale. What does that mean to me? The biggest issue I see with people is, remember, you're coming in as the expert. You're coming in, think about it like this. You're the home remodeler going to Home Depot. You're going to love all the tools. You're going to love the saws and the hammers and the nails and all the new stuff. But none of your customers care about any of that. They just want the house to be built, right?
Yeah.
And how it gets built and what they use and blah, 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 blah. Not interested in it. And the more you try to go that direction, the worse it's going to get. You need to focus on outcomes. So when you're making the sale, you're saying, hey, I'm going to help you get more 5-star reviews or a higher rank on Google or more. And really, it's all driving to more customers through the door, right? That's the most important thing. So make the sale and focus on sales around outcomes, things that your customer wants. See it from their perspective. Put yourself in their shoes. Assume they're a busy person who has no extra time to learn anything and is looking for results. That's how you make the sale. That's number one. Number two, how do you do that? When someone, let's just say you say, oh, I'm going to get you more customers. And someone's like, great, I'll pay you. How are you going to achieve that? You're going to pick one feature. And I'm not joking about this. One feature. It can be missed call text back. It could be inbound voice AI. In fact, inbound voice AI crushes it because you don't have to add them to the software. They don't have to become a user of it. They don't have to know it exists. You don't have to replace the phone number. You can do what's called busy no answer call forwarding. So it rings the business owner 3 times. So like just normal, like they would otherwise experience it. And then when they don't pick up, and by the way, I don't care what they say, they don't pick up all the darn time, it rolls over automatically in the background to HighLevel, picks up with the voice AI, and the voice AI will book it in. And here's the beautiful thing. You get one customer for most businesses, and that's easily worth a $300 a month charge. So focus on one feature, focus on making the sale. If you do those 2 things, you will win. You can always do more later. You can always learn more later. You can always expand later, but for gosh sakes, start simple.
That's awesome. Awesome insights right there. Now let's talk about the real opportunity for people who don't have the tech background, but they are ready to specialize. How would you describe the value of someone who can come in and set up an entire GoHighLevel system for a small business, from lead capture, pipeline automation to nurturing?
I mean, indispensable. That's how I describe them. I mean, here's the great thing about it. I think as HighLevel, our mission is really broad. Our mission is to like have every tool you could ever imagine, but that's like Home Depot, right?
Yep.
Don't think about how many different types of professionals walk into Home Depot. There are people like who walk into Home Depot and 75% of the store, they're like, ick. I never want to go down that aisle. I hate plumbing. I hate electrical. That stuff sucks. I love sprinklers, man. I'm the sprinkler dude. In fact, I just go down the sprinkler aisle. I just go down to one silly aisle. But guess what? I have a whole business around one aisle. They never go in and cry and say like, oh man, I'm such a loser. I have a multi-million-dollar business on sprinklers, but I can't do any plumbing or electrical. I should just quit. No one ever says that, right?
Yeah.
With HighLevel, that's kind of how it is. You're walking into the Home Depot. You're seeing all the tools. Don't feel bad that you can't do every last little thing. Don't worry about that. Focus on simple, get started. And the good news for you is the other big thing is the bar is so low right now with all these businesses. It is just ridiculously easy. You walk in and you're like, so how many calls do you miss every day? And people say something, they'll say one of 2 things. So if they're honest, they'll say, I don't really know. If they're not honest, or they don't know, and they're going to say, oh, I never miss a call. Oh, how do you know that? Oh, I have, Judy, she's up front. She's our front desk person. Oh, really? That's weird. What happens at 9:00 at night when somebody calls? Oh, well, yeah. Oh, see, gotcha. And say like, well, gosh, how much is an average sale for you? Oh, it's this, it's that. It's very easy to walk yourself into a scenario where you're not running ads. You're not asking them to spend money out of pocket to drive more business. You're literally taking the business they lose every single day and you're mopping it up. And every time voice AI picks up a call, that is a win for you. And that is an easy way for you to go in and create. And here's the most important thing. Remember, with sales, it's all about know, like, and trust. So that first experience, the goal is, no, I don't know you. I don't know if I like you yet. And if it's me, I don't like you. And then because no one likes me. And then they don't trust you. So you got to cross that bridge, right? So the sooner you can deliver value, the better. And so no matter what, even if they're like, no, I never miss a call. I'm a genius. I'm a ninja. You're like, hey, you know what? Tell you what, I'm going to do this for free. I'm going to set this up because it costs pennies. And you're like, all you got to do is show them how many calls they miss every day. And the nice thing is, you don't even have to turn those calls into business at first. You can say, hey, look, I'm just going to show you a quick report here. You just missed 10 calls yesterday. What if I just convert one of those into a booked appointment for you? Would that be worth $300? So there are very easy ways to walk yourself into that. And then whether you specialize or not, that's up to you. I am not a big fan of specialization. It's always like riches are in the niches and all these crazy things. I'll just be honest at this point. I think that's a load of malarkey. I think most people should walk out their front door and sell locally first because the opportunity is so big. And that, while it definitely feels good to say like, oh, I'm in the dental niche. And so I get really good in dentistry and this and that. What you're missing is how, back to the know, like, and trust, how trust is built is almost always person to person. It's superior to every other method. I'll tell you that. So ultimately, why is one of us here, in Miami, is because they're trying to create relationships. And it's that person-to-person relationship that just wins all. So I'll tell you the story I saw time and time and again, way back in the beginning of HighLevel. I would talk to two different types of agencies. I would talk to the Facebook ads cowboys, as I like to call them. And they're like, yeah, I'm riches and niches. I'm dental niche. I'm a plumber niche. I'm a this, I'm a that. I just do Facebook ads for plumbers. I'm going to be a millionaire. Those guys, they were churning and burning clients every 5 minutes. And we worked hard to help those guys. And we were able to make some really good gains there. But the other type of agency I would talk to is, oh yeah, I'm just a local digital marketing agency in Poughkeepsie, Illinois, or Poughkeepsie, wherever. And you'd be like, oh, okay. What's your churn rate like? You know? And they're like, what's a churn rate? And you'd be like, oh, losing clients. Like, how often do you lose a client? And they're like, I think some guy died last week, maybe. But his son is taking over. He was like 90, so he lived a good life, you know. But other than that, I can't really think of the last time we lost a client. And I'm like, oh my God, why is that? And I'm like, well, what do you do? Do you specialize in something? No, we don't specialize in anything. What do you do for people? Well, pretty much anything they ask us to do. I mean, the absolute, you know, antithesis of what you would expect to be successful, and yet extraordinarily successful. And why? It's because when something went wrong, you'd be like, you know what? That is really a crappy situation. Hold on, I'm going to get a box of donuts. I'll be right down. I'm going to help you out. And boom, they would keep that client for life off the simple fact that they could create a connection that when things go wrong, because they always go wrong, it was easy for them to go back in and create comfort and show that person they cared and show that they were there for them. And off the back of that, they kept their clients forever. Now, of course, you might ask yourself why they were calling us. Turns out they were running into what I call a share of wallet issue, which is they had sold marketing to that local business. So they couldn't sell SEO and PPC and all this. The local customer wouldn't recognize the difference. They'd be like, I already bought marketing. So now they were adding in software because they understood the value of that. But net, their churn, they never walked into the door with a churn issue. And that's why to this day, I say, listen, start simple, start small, and start local. That's how you're going to crush it with HighLevel. And honestly, almost any business. But I think if the reason you choose HighLevel is it's monthly recurring, it's highly scalable, and you can use AI and automation to do a lot of the work on behalf of your client, so you're not killing yourself.
So correct me if I'm wrong. What you're trying to say here is that personalization is way better than specialization, right?
Way better. And you know, honestly, I get why it's funny, because in everything else in life, it doesn't go that way, right? You don't want your dentist to tell you he's also a part-time plumber and a part-time electrician. You'd freak the heck out, and you'd have a right to do so. Like the second they're like, hey, let me think. I think I remember how to drill a cavity out. Let me see. Like you just be out of that chair so fast it'd blow your mind. But when it comes to marketing, it's a totally different story. And even in the dentist, even though they're specialized, they're still local. So they don't try, most of them, to get you to fly in to Arizona or some other place you don't live to do the dental work. You go to the local person. And so they're still fundamentally creating a lot of trust in that local market. And that's where you should start as well. Now, here's the great news. For any of those people out there who say to me, hey, I'm going to dominate my local market. There's 10 people in my town. The second you do that, that's okay. You can still hold on to those 10 and go farther. But at that point, you have a lot of track record underneath you. You know how the systems work. You know what's delivering value. You have a lot of that confidence and that ability to deliver. That will extend out as you move out away from your local area. But that local area is going to get you started and create a good recurring revenue base that you're not going to lose. So that's why you should start local.
Awesome. So over here in the Philippines, we're seeing the start of something. So more and more people are waking up to the idea that they don't need to move abroad or work night shifts forever. They just need to learn how to help businesses and win. And
that's what I like to hear.
GoHighLevel gives them the tools to do that. And so from your perspective, do you think the Philippines can become one of the top countries in the world for producing GoHighLevel powered freelancers and support teams?
Oh, heck yeah. In fact, there was a big event that these two ladies whose names I can't remember at the moment, they put on like 1,000-person event in the Philippines recently, and we had nothing to do with it. It was incredible. But I mean, the Filipinos in general have proven themselves to be incredibly entrepreneurial, incredibly hardworking. But you're right. And I have some experience in the background of India, so I'll speak to that. It used to be the same way there. It was like, oh, the only way to get a job is either move to the US or work with the US. And fundamentally, over time, people were like, yeah, I don't want to stay up all night. I don't want to work in a call center. I don't want to do these things. I want to have time with my family. And I think what I've seen over time is they were able to upskill through technology primarily. And I think that's exactly where the Philippines is at as well. I mean, I've been to the Philippines, so I've had the luck and pleasure of getting to know some people. We have some actually team members there. They took us around. It was such a fun time. I got to see that there's such rich history there. It's such an amazing place. It's beautiful, and everyone is so nice. But it's also a big, growing, exciting economy, and so there's huge opportunity there to go in and apply these things for all those local businesses. And I think because HighLevel doesn't put limits on what you can sell to within your own countries, you have this opportunity to go out out and actually sell at a rate that is locally viable for all people. And then you can go out and you can just crush it and you can do a great job. And yeah, I don't see why you'd have to go abroad anymore. I don't think it's a thing.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. One thing I always tell my community is that when people from a first world country think of hiring offshore, the Philippines is always top of mind. So, do you see a future where businesses intentionally hire Go High Level Trade Filipino specialists?
Oh, absolutely. We have this all. We already have this today. I mean, if you look in our directory.gohighlevel.com, you'll see a lot of folks that are represented from the Philippines. And so that's why we created the certified program, because it was really clear to me early on that, you have some insanely good people and some not so insanely good people, and you really want to recognize and promote the good people. So we created that directory to really call out the great people. And, on one hand, it's a good two-way relationship because we charge for it, but we're also serious about it. We promote it everywhere. We put those people front and center. They get a ton of work from it. And it's just this beautiful reinforcing thing. But it's also giving those people, I think it gives those people a platform and a spotlight that they deserve. And it also gives them an opportunity to work in their own time zones, do their own work, create their own solutions, be their own person, be creative in the ways that they want to be creative, and just be less bound to this title of VA. Which I think is a dog whistle oftentimes for a cheap person in the Philippines, which I think is terrible. I think it's not about being cheap. It's about being good. And you have some incredibly talented folks there. And I think it's really an opportune time for them to really be able to show off their skills, charge properly for them, get paid well for them. Because at the end of the day, I don't care where someone is located. I care about what they can do. And if they have the right skills, I'm going to pay them whatever it costs because I need that outcome. Back to how I would sell to a local business, I wouldn't sell on price. I would sell on an outcome. Like, what is a new customer worth for you? What is that outcome worth for you? And I think that should be no different than if you're setting up a high level system for somebody.
Love that. I love that. Now, this question will hit home because most of my community are working 9-to-5 jobs, call center shifts, or doing low paying freelance work just to get by.
Yeah.
Do you believe learning Go High Level can realistically help them break out of that?
I mean, I've seen it at least a couple hundred times. So yeah. In fact, I think those two ladies from the Philippines, they also traveled. Oh my gosh, they traveled to London to see us. They did all kinds of stuff. And I don't think they did that because they have a bunch of extra money in their pocket. I think it's because they worked their butt off and they created a high level agency. And I think they've set up a ton of great accounts for people. And I think most importantly, though, I think they're charging a good wage for it. And I think they're charging what they're worth. And as a result, they're paying for their plane tickets to London, their hotels in London. And I think that's what everybody should do. I think if you're a Filipino and you're in that situation, you should sort of take a beat and realize, wait a second, I need to stop valuing myself based on the country I was born in. That's just random chance. What you should really start to do is charge something that is worth what you're creating for somebody else. It's irrelevant from where you work. If you look at some of the largest corporations in the United States, many of them have foreign-born CEOs. They don't get paid less for that. And if anything, I feel very fortunate to have those people in my country running those companies because I think they're incredibly talented folks. So again, I don't think they think of themselves as lesser having been born in another country, and I don't think anybody in the Philippines should either. And I think the most important thing is as a mindset, the second you decide nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to take a discount. I'm not taking a drop in pay just because of where I'm from. I'm going to think more about, I want to compete with the best of the best in the world and I want to get paid for my skills. For me, that's how you start. It's small but mighty. As a country, you just move away from viewing yourself every day as a cheap commodity and moving yourself into a specialization that has real skills and has real acumen and honestly is valued as a resource versus valued as a quote unquote cheap place to go. So it starts with the individual and I think it becomes infectious. So if you're one of those people, first think about your mindset. Why are you worth less just because of where you're born? I think the answer is that's nonsense garbage. Stop thinking about it that way. Just attack the world based on the skills and the outcomes you create and price accordingly because that's what you deserve.
Awesome. I definitely agree on that. So inside of my community, we've got people who are college dropouts, but they're sharp, resourceful, and they're willing to learn. Do you believe Go High Level is a skill that doesn't require a degree, just dedication and grit?
I'm a college dropout too, so I agree with them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's say someone gives themselves 90 days to learn Go High Level, 3 months. No experience, no background, no tech certificates. What's the smartest way they should approach learning Go High Level to get results?
Start simple, focus on the sale, start local. Pick one feature and just go out because I'll tell you something, the biggest problem is always going to be yourself, and we're all like this. You can give me any product in the world right now. You could go have me work at a Lambo dealership. I would sell less Lambos than anybody else because I just don't know how. I don't have the confidence to say, oh, that's the best car ever. You're an idiot for wanting to go buy a Ferrari. Ferraris for our losers, right? But that's the confidence you have to exude. And when you go out and do that sale, if you don't know the product or you don't have experience, it's the experience you need to gain in order to create that confidence. And a lot of that is about striking out. So the less you learn on the tech side and the more you learn on the sales side, the better. And honestly, again, your customers don't care about the tech. They care about the outcome. And if you can deliver that outcome, that's where the worth is. That's where the value is, not the tool that's used to create it. And in fact, this is why HighLevel does what it does. We don't run around selling to everybody because we know it's not the tool, it's not the hammer, the saw, the nail gun that creates the house. It's the provider, and it is the skilled craftsperson who knows how to take those tools and actually create an outcome. I mean, I always think of for myself, like you could take me to Home Depot and you could buy me a tool ever, and you could say, Sean, this is everything you need to build a house. And I promise you, I couldn't even build a dog house. I would hit myself on the thumb with a hammer, and that would be it. I'd cry, I'd be done. And yet you could give half those tools to somebody else and they would create a mansion out of it, right? What is the difference between those two people? One of them has a great skill that they've crafted over time and has experience, and the other has none. That's the difference. It's not the tool, it's the person. But how do you get there? It's about experience, and it's about being willing to get out there, knock on the doors, get the no's, because and a lot of it, just know it's you. It's your confidence. It's you walking through the door, people can see right through you, but that's okay, because as time goes on, you'll toughen up. You'll learn to pitch it better. You'll learn to ask questions. You'll learn. And you know what? I used to have this great trick I would pull on agencies. And this is how you'll know you're really good at what you do, when you can pull the mind reader trick. So somebody gets on the phone with you, and the first thing you say is I bet your biggest issue right now is that you're churning clients. And if that person's like, oh my God, how did that guy know? He's a genius. He read my mind. That's how you know you're good. But how did I do that? How does that mind reader trick work? You just ask the opposite question. Hey, what's the biggest issue you're running through? And when you hear the same one 1,000 times, you got pretty good odds the next person you talk to is going to say yes to that. And as soon as you can pull the mind reader trick, it's easy to make the sale, because now they know that you already know their problem. So they trust that you might also know the solution. So when you say, hey, you're churning clients a lot, don't worry, I can show you how to fix that. They'll start to believe because you already know the problem, and then you'll make the sale. So that is how I would focus on the first 90 days. How many reps through that can you get? And realize it's always the hardest at first. It is the worst at first. And it's hard to see that this is like working out at the gym or something, right? It's why I don't have a six pack. It's like, because I go one time and I'm like, ow, that hurt. I quit. Where's my six pack? Oh, what? I have to wait 9 months? I had to do this every day for 9 months? I quit. That's where people fail in life. They quit too early because they can't get instant results. That's where you need to focus. 90 days of getting those reps, 90 days of taking the no's, and slowly those no's will start to turn into maybes, and then those maybes will start to turn into yeses.
Awesome. I love that. So for those here in the Philippines, for those who decide to go all in and master Go High Level, what's the long game for them? What does their life look like if they stay committed over the next few years?
I mean, we have a model that has now been in existence for 6 or 7 years, believe it or not. I just did an announcement on this. We are the largest marketing automation platform in the world now. Yeah. And the reason is because because the model works. So we love our model. We're not changing our model. Our goal is to help you build a consistent recurring revenue business that's built on creating amazing outcomes for the small businesses, the medium businesses that you serve. And we will continue to build the tools. That's what we do. We're the tool guys and gals. We build the tools. We build the tools you ask us to build, though. That's the fun part. So the things that we build are the things you ask us to build. And, we have an ideas list where you get to vote stuff up. We have product town halls where you talk to the product managers to each of the areas. So this is all ways that we try to give people the ability to connect directly with our team. These days, we're quite big, 1,600 employees. So we have the team, we have the size, we have the scale, and we have the model, and most importantly. And we're not changing that model for anything, and we're the only people with this model. So our goal is really simple. We want to fast forward 10 years, 20 years, 100 years. We want to continue to be helping you create a recurring revenue business that you own. That revenue, that is your business. If you choose to sell it at some point, we have already seen this now hundreds of times, you will get really great valuations. You don't get knocked for being on high level. In fact, these days, I think you actually get some bonus points for it because the person you sell to can continue to run that business the same way you ran it. And as a result, it's very solid. And so you're going to get a good valuation on it. So while you own it, you will get a great return. When you sell it, it will become an asset that you can sell. So that is, for me, that's my mission. That's what I do every day, is try to figure out how to make sure that we are living up to those 2 points. And that's the type of business you can expect.
Awesome. Out of respect of your time, Sean, here's my last question. Our community, which we call the colony in here in the Philippines, it has been growing fast with more than 3,000. Actually, now, hours ago, we just hit 4,000 members.
Hey, congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm kind
That's
of
not
like
easy to
barely,
do.
maybe.
Good for you.
Yeah, and so Filipinos are learning how to use GoHighLevel in there, not just as a tool, but as a way to learn. Do you have any message for our community and what we're trying to build here?
Well, I just think it's awesome. I think your country is amazing. I can't wait to come back. I got to do so many fun things the first time. I'm coming back for sure. And I can't wait. Hopefully, I can connect with you when I do. And so I would
For
just say
sure.
congratulations to you and your community because I think you're on the precipice of doing amazing things. So thank you for taking some time out of your day. Thank you for staying up late to talk to me and deal with my crazy schedule. But I'm excited. I'm excited about what all of you are working on and all of you are doing because it sounds like you're going great places.
Awesome, awesome. Before we wrap up, I want to give you the floor for a second. If there's anyone watching right now, maybe they're new to high level, maybe they've heard of it but haven't really taken the first step. What would you say to them? Feel free to share where it can
Yeah, I
go,
mean,
what's available. Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, there's a lot with Go High Level, like I said. But if you really want to explore more, I just go to YouTube and go to our High Level channel. You don't have to, no, you don't have to get a trial going, any of that stuff. And we do a lot. We share not only just software stuff, but we also show amazing people who use our system. You get different case studies and walkthroughs and all this, so you get a really good idea of what we're all about. But obviously, that would be if it were me, that's where I'd start anyway. So yeah, check out YouTube and just search High Level.
awesome. Sean, thank you again so much for your time.
Yeah, thank
You've
you
given us a
both.
glimpse into the future of GoHighLevel, and yeah, thousands of Filipinos, freelancers, virtual assistants, solopreneurs will walk away from this interview inspired because for once they see a clear path forward. And so I just want to say, from all of us here in the Philippines, my community, thank you for building something worth believing in. And yeah, I'll be sharing this inside of my community. We've got thousands of Filipinos learning GoHighLevel, and I know this conversation will fire them up. And yeah, I'd say have a great rest of your Wednesday. And
All
I'm really
right.
hoping to
Thank you
get to
both.
see you here in
Bye
the
for now.
Philippines. For sure.
Bye.
For sure. Bye bye. Thank you, Sean.